Immortals. It's an intriguing story of her personal relationship with her pet cats. I'm delighted to say that Jean joins us this lunchtime. Jean, are you an artist first or a writer first?
Oh dear, I think I'm a writer first, but the painting certainly does mean a lot to me. Of course, it makes a break from the writing, a relaxation, to be able to get up from my typewriter and stand at the easel. It's using a different part of the brain.
It's very important to you, the way that you express your feelings through your art. Let's talk a bit about that first, because the pictures of the cats in the book are deeply personal pictures, aren't they?
Oh, they are, yes. Well, they are done simply because the beauty of the cats inspires me.
When did you first become a cat lover, then?
Well, I think I've always been an animal lover since my childhood. As a child, I always kept insects and frogs and toads and little things. I think I first became really conscious of cats in London when I was concerned about the plight of a little cat who'd been brought in by people who didn't take proper care of her, and I started feeding her and encouraging her to come into my flat, and then she had kittens, and then I took the kittens too into my flat, and then there was a most unhappy Abyssinian who'd been apparently abandoned in a nearby street, and I took her in, and this coincided with my moving from London to the country, so I was able to bring all the cats with me.
Did you find that your cat colony expanded and that you had more and more cats staying with you when you moved to Wilmington?
Well, I had to put limits to the cat colony. Yes, that did tend to happen.
What brought you to Northamptonshire? What brought you to Wilmington?
Well, I wanted to move out from London to be in the country. And I had friends who were living in this district. They'd bought a house in this district, and they mentioned having seen this house at Wilmington, which they thought was something which I would like and I ought to come and see.
Now, Cats and Other Immortals is your brand new book. It's just been published in hardback. But you're the author of more than a dozen non-fiction books.
That is true.
What are they all about?
Well, the earlier ones are about the fate of our secret agents in France during the war, because one of them, Norinayat Khan, was a personal friend of mine who just disappeared. I wanted to find out what had happened to her. I went to find her colleagues in the resistance and also the Germans who'd arrested her. I found the German intelligence officer who'd arrested and interrogated her. I found the staff of the prison where she'd been kept, and whilst I was doing that, I came on a number of other mysteries which I investigated and which developed into books.
Did you always intend to be a writer from an early age?
I think so, yes.
But your studies were always linked to art, weren't they?
Yes, I certainly never expected to write about spies. And two of my books, well, three of my books, are standard literary biographies. I mean, Shelley, Swinburne, and Bacon.
Well, all indeed very impressive writers in their own right. Do you find yourself in awe of them when you write about their lives?
No, I don't think so.
What about your cats, though? I mean, when we come back to your book, Cats and Other Immortals, I suppose of all the books that you've written, as you say, you've written standard literary biographies, you've written books about the plight of agents and spies during the war. This is perhaps the most frivolous of the books that you've ever put together.
It's not frivolous. No, it's much too deeply felt to be thought of as frivolous. Not frivolous to me.
Right, so I suppose I ought to retract that and say that perhaps it's more personal.
That's right. Yes, it is.
Did you have this book inside you for a number of years?
Right. Oh, yes. And of course it's a more relaxed book because it's not a matter of having to research anything, only to remember and to look back over my diaries.
What form does the book take?
How do you mean?
Insofar as, how would we follow through the narrative? What would we learn by reading this book? What would we discover?
What, about cats or about me?
Well, I don't know. You tell me.
I just think the relationship between a human and the animals, the cats, and one sees how their personalities develop. I've been very conscious of how their personalities have developed, how their intelligence and their capacity for affection has developed.
I began our conversation by asking you whether or not you were a painter first or a writer first. I now have to say, are you a cat lover first, or a lover of the countryside, or is it a combination of all of these passions and enthusiasms that inspires you to write this book?
Probably a combination of all of them.
How did you sell the idea for Cats and Other Immortals to your publishers?
Well, I published it myself. Normally I do have an ordinary commercial publisher, but with this one, which was so very personal, I decided to publish it myself from Fuller Smith, which is a firm in which I'm a partner.
And has there been a good response to the book so far?
Yes, it's been quite interesting. There's been quite a lot of interest.
Do people think that perhaps this is in the same style as some of your previous books and stumble across it because of your name on the front cover, or do you think they buy it because they're into the feline activities of the cats?
That I don't know. Both, I think. Some of each. There are some who will buy anything that I write, and some
which is very nice, obviously.
In cats.
But I just wonder if somebody, you can just imagine, can't you, a distinguished academic at one of the top universities who's got Jean Overton Fuller's book on Shelley on his shelf, and he's browsing through his local bookshop and sees another one. Oh, must have this for the collection, and then suddenly it's a bit of a paradox.
Absolutely. That's right.
It's beautifully illustrated, as I said in my introduction, by oil paintings of cats. I mean, how do you get them to sit still long enough to do the paintings?
Well, I make quick sketches. When I was at the Académie Julien in Paris, they taught one to make lightning sketches, 2-minute sketches. But I have also used photographs, though not slavishly.
Why?
It's a combination.
Why have pictures painted by yourself in the book rather than photographs of the real thing?
Oh, no. No, they wouldn't be the same at all.
You want to have that element of the artist in you to come through.
Yes.
It's an unusual book. I really don't know how best to categorise it. It is, if you like, a personal recollection, isn't it? And celebration.
Yes, you can say that. And it is to immortalise the cats.
Why did you want to immortalise them?
Because I loved them.
And that's probably the best reason of all. Who do you think is going to buy the book?
I don't know. People who love cats, I suppose. And the relationship. I mean, it's not just the animals, it is the personal relationship which develops.
Well, we wish you every success with this book. It's going to be one of those ideal Christmas presents, particularly if there's somebody in your life who's as potty about cats as you are.
Thank you very much, Matthew.
That's Jean Overton Fuller. Her book, Cats and Other Immortals, is published in hardback at £12.99, and it's available from all good bookshops. Fuller Smith Limited publish it in Wilmington, of course, which is over near Royston in Northamptonshire. But you'll find it in all good bookshops, and there's a rather fine oil painting of a cat sticking his tongue out and showing 2 fangs on the
She's yawning.
Oh, sorry, she's not. She's not sticking her tongue out at all. She's just enjoying the good life, I'm sure.
That's right.
It certainly seems to be a good life for cats in Wilmington. Jean Overton Fuller, thank you very much indeed. And we have a copy of this book to give away. If you'd like to win a copy, all you have to do is give us a call now on Northampton 234455 with the name of the cat in Alice in Wonderland. Can you name the cat in Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll? If you can, 234455 is the number to dial, and a copy of the book, Cats and Other Immortals by Jean Overton Fuller, could be yours. Give us a call now, 234455, name the cat in Alice in Wonderland.